Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Starladder Season 7. We are here with day number 30. That's right, folks, the final day of our 30 days of initial round robin, the final portion of those initial 120 matches. I can't believe it's over already, but after today, we'll know who those top 4 teams are to move on to the double elimination grand finals. Our first match to kick things off today will be 4 Friends and Krilly versus Rox.kis. So, notably, this is a match that isn't quite as big today. Neither of these teams will be in that top 5, so this game a little bit more for funsies, for the good practice. Hopefully they'll give us some interesting strategies to look at, and we'll see how these teams fare. Now, one thing that's jumping out at me right away is Rox.kis have a very interesting stand-in. They've got Dread in place of, I don't know who their normal 5th is. My memory is not serving me here, but they do have Biz, Y'all, Nexus, and Sadoy from their regular roster, and Dread, a very popular Russian streamer. I'm sure many of you have heard of Mr. Dread, and well, just an interesting stand-in, important to note here. So, let's take a look at these bans. 4 Friends and Krilly going to take out Wisp as well as the Life Stealer. Rox.kis going to ban out on the OD as well as the Visage. So, first pick going to go over to Rox.kis, and no doubt I think that Bat Rider going to be a choice they want to grab. But we'll see. They are going to think about it for a moment here, so pardon me, I glanced at the chat. I made that mistake again. I can't read and I can't read and talk at the same time, folks. So I am Zyur. I am solo casting today, and I think Hippie will be joining me for the latter portion of the cast today. We do have 6 matches, so hopefully he joins me, because solo casting 6 is definitely quite tiresome. So whenever I'm solo casting, as I tend to say from time to time, I like to look at chat and see what you guys have to say. Gonna be a slow day today, no doubt. Lots of great Dota 2 action. Weekends are always slow here on Dota Radio. Less folks at work, less of a need for that audio-only broadcast. And, well, we're A-okay with that. Just the nature of the business. No problem whatsoever. Rox.kis, though, they will indeed first pick the Naga, and that had to be the debate. Naga versus the Bat Rider. Looking at these bans, all 4 first bans, very powerful, but huge heroes still on the board. And, wow, 4FC not going to go for the Bat Rider either. They're going to go ahead and first pick Chen, second pick the Weaver as it gets kicked back over to Rox.kis for their second pick. I can't believe they're going to give Rox.kis the opportunity to grab Naga as well as the Bat Rider with their first 2 picks. Both of them are first pick material, and 4FC must be feeling pretty confident about their ability to deal with both the Naga as well as the Bat Rider. And there it is, Rox.kis going to second pick that Bat Rider to follow up the Naga. Now, one of the things that makes this a little bit scary is Bat Rider and Naga are 2 heroes very difficult to counter. Naga Siren ulti, how do you stop it? Well, you pretty much have to ban Naga, or you kill the Naga. If you can burst her down, use that Orchid to lock her down before she can get the ultimate off. That's one way to do it. But so far, they don't have a very lockdown intensive team. Of course, Weaver not very stun intensive there, no hard disables. Chen doesn't have any himself, but he will be able to grab some creeps. He can stack those centaurs, stack well, some Dark Troll summoners as it may be to try and work that stun lock. We have seen Chens do that from time to time, but still Naga, a hero very, very difficult to deal with. Not one you're going to be able to easily counter pick to shut down. Bat Rider, of course, probably going to see him in the jungle. We'll see exactly how Rox.kis want to lane him. We've seen him middle. We've seen him in that solo off lane as well, where he can fare quite nicely against someone like a Furion, sometimes as well as a Darkseer, depending on how those lanes settle down. But more commonly, I think we've been seeing Bat Rider in that jungle, just stacking and farming the hard camp as well as the easy camp, and farming to his heart's content to grab that blink and hit that level 6 mark pretty much as quickly as possible. And we'll see what 4FC want to try to draft to deal with that. When Bat Rider's in the jungle, it can get very difficult to shut him down. Chen will be there to help protect him, and of course the mid and the top lanes will be nearby for 4FC, or pardon me, the bottom and mid lanes will be nearby for Rox.kis if 4FC try and venture down there and shut down the Bat Rider. But gonna be a little bit tough for them, no doubt. Now Rox.kis, they're gonna start banning the off laners here. They are gonna take Clockwork off the field, probably gonna be a Darkseer ban coming out next, possibly a Bounty Hunter as well. No, 4FC gonna do it for him. They're gonna take out the Darkseer themselves. So we'll see. Maybe all the off laners gonna get banned out here. Furion and Bounty Hunter, 2 left on the pool, or left in the pool rather, that definitely could be viable picks really for both teams. We'll see what they want to grab, and they could always put that Bat Rider in the off lane again. Certainly a possibility. There it is. Furion gonna be the 4th ban coming out for Rox.kis. Following up that Clockwork. I'm kind of sitting straight. I'm slowly slouching into my chair here, but actually I think I need to lower my chair a little bit. Well, let's see here. So there we go. So let's continue to try and be prim and proper. I feel so British when I sit up straight. I feel like that's how my British relatives would make me would be proud to see me sit. I have bad posture just in general. My whole family does, really. So my ex-girlfriend told me the first thing she noticed when she met my family is that we all have terrible posture. I was like, oh, really? That was the first thing that we projected to you? Oh, man. Elder Titan, though, going to be the final ban here from 4FC, so Bounty Hunter still on the field. Probably going to be a pick that these teams may want to go for here. They are going to take Elder Titan off, though, as he can be an offlaner. We've definitely seen that a time or two, and one of the other great things about Elder Titan is that natural order. I'm going to keep bringing it up, as well as that AoE ulti. He can add a lot of presence there with that base aura that removes all that magic armor, as well as the regular physical armor. But he's not going to be in the match here, so not going to spend too much time talking about him. We'll see what 4FC want to do with their third pick. They're going to break into their reserve time. They've got about 45 seconds left, so they can definitely deliberate a bit longer here and decide what they want to do to go with their Weaver and Chen. A very open-ended draft so far. We've seen Weaver really in every role imaginable, the top lane, the mid lane, and that off lane. All those going to be options. They could tri-lane him. They could mid him if they absolutely have to. One of the great things about Weaver mid is he is nice and mobile, generally hard to kill, but we have definitely seen him boxed out of the lane by heroes like Puck, possibly a Bat Rider as well, before he gets that time lapse, before he gets that core Lincolns or BKB. He can definitely get shut down quite hard against some of those aggressive int heroes in the mid lane. Rubik going to be the third pick now, coming out for 4FC to go with Weaver and Chen. So again, a very open-ended draft, just going to grab that second support. They could be gearing up for a killer tri-lane. Again, if they want to offlane that Weaver, Chen can definitely fit into that. With the Rubik, you set up with the telekinesis, Fade Bolt Burst, and then Chen can come in with an array of creeps. The early Hellbire Smashers for non-stop Thunderclap can be great. We've seen the 3 Shockwave strat with the Satyr Tormentors. That can work fine as well as some Centaurs. Hell, even a Dark Troll Summoner. Really, any of the Chen creeps can come in and be quite effective with that Rubik setup, which is telekinesis. So, still, time will tell how 4FC want to try to make this happen. I think you could even see a killer tri-lane with a Bounty Hunter and offlane that Weaver. Not something we see too frequently, but could be an option here for 4FC based on how this draft is unfolding so far. Really, anything. The sky's the limit is the adage I'm going for there. Now, we'll see what Rox.kis want to do with their third pick. They've got a very powerful draft to start things off, but I think they're going to have to deliberate with where they want to go from here. It's going to be a Jakiro, so I was just going to say they can start trying to get this Wombo combo AoE team coming out, and that's what 4FC obviously scared of there, taking that Elder Titan out of the field. Again, that natural order synergizes with that build very nicely, as does his ultimate. That Earth Splitter, a great AoE ulti. Puck now going to be the fourth pick for 4FC, a nice strong mid hero there, so probably just going to want to grab an offlaner. Again, I think Bounty Hunter going to be a possibility there for their final pick, but Puck going to be a great mid, going to be able to fare very nicely against that Bat Rider. If Puck can grab a little bit of an early advantage, may be able to set up a kill with that Dream Coil upon hitting level 6. Certainly have seen that a time or two in our days here at Starladder Season 7 over the past month. Rox.kis now going to have the opportunity for their fourth pick. Obviously going to need a carry here, as well as their offlaner. Again, depending on how they want to do this, could potentially need a mid hero. Again, if they don't want to put Bat in that mid lane and they want to take that more greedy option, throw him in the jungle, and not really take a dedicated offlaner. And oh, there it is. Templar Assassin going to be that fourth pick for Rox.kis to try and counteract the efforts of that Puck in the mid lane. Now, we've seen this on many an occasion, and Templar Assassin certainly is a force to be reckoned with from the perspective of that Fairy Dragon, and TA should have the upper hand in the laning phase. But one of the issues with Templar Assassin is that she's susceptible to those ganks, and with a Chen, with a Rubik, they're going to be able to try and make her life hell a little bit if they can get some of those early kills on Templar Assassin, especially before that level 6 mark. That can be absolutely huge and slow down her momentum quite a bit. One of the other things to note as well is TA doesn't have that team fight presence that Puck has. Even if TA wins that laning phase, you're still never really going to shut down a Puck. He's still going to hit level 11, still going to be able to have that Dream Coil and do all that burst damage with the Orb Waning Rift, still going to have an instant cast, 3-second silence with an unbelievably fast cast time. So although TA can win the laning phase, as long as Puck doesn't get killed repeatedly and holds his own, gets a baseline of farm, plays a little bit more defensively, Four Friends and Krilly should be just fine, even though TA is really considered a counter pick to the Puck. Now, Bounty Hunter, again, still on the field. Gyrocopter going to be the final ban coming out from 4FC. I think that makes a lot of sense here. He's a carry that would fit in very well with Rox.kis. Of course, they do need someone for that tri-lane skill, and he does have that huge bit of AoE between the flat cannon as well as the call down. Of course, Templar Assassin will be able to carry here, but again, you're not really going to tri-lane that Templar Assassin. She's definitely been picked up to try and counteract the puck efforts there from 4FC. Lone Druid going to be the final ban coming out from Rox.kis, and we'll see what 4 Friends and Crew are going to pick up here. Again, I think Bounty Hunter would be a hero that would just fit so nicely into their roster, help the farm from that Weaver a little bit, give them a nice kind of mid-game semi-carry to allow that Weaver to really transition into where he wants to be. But no, going to be the Mirana final pick. A similar flavor, though. A nice semi-carry, a soft carry, if you will. Her belly full of jelly, as she will be doing just fine up in that tri-lane. Or is it going to be a tri-lane with the Weaver? Both Weaver and Mirana fine in that off lane, of course. With the Leap, with the Sacred Arrow, as well as the Starfall, she can be very bursty, can definitely pick up solo kills all by her lonesome, and has a lot of utility just in that long lane. We can also see Mirana cut through the trees and poke down the Ancients, continue to stack, continue to keep that DPS on right by that tier 1 tower in the bottom lane. We've seen that before as well. I think we've seen Funnick do that a time or two. So definitely a strategy that can be employed by Mirana's quite easily. Really doesn't take too much skill to pull it off. You just need to buy that Quelling Blade, cut through the trees, and just A move onto the ground, and you stand there and kill the Ancients while they run back and forth like a bunch of dum-dums. So that is going to give 4FC now Mirana, Puck, Rubik, Weaver, and Shen for their final roster, as Rox.kis going to be kicked over to their final pick. They're going to have about 20 seconds of reserve time left, and we'll see what they want to go for here. We'll know momentarily. Again, got to be a tri-lane here. I think Gyrocopter would have fit into that roster so well. And interesting, going to be a Shadow Fiend. Probably going to be a Shadow Fiend tri-lane. We'll see Biz in the mid lane on that TA, and Nexus going to be the hard farming Shadow Fiend with the Jakiro and the Naga Siren. So that is a killer tri-lane. That is something to be afraid of. Easy Shadow Raises can be set up between the Ice Path as well as the Ensnare coming from the Naga. So this is definitely something Rox.kis will be able to set up some of those early kills. But now Batrider going to be stuck in that off-lane / jungle role. Going to be played by Sadoy. He is that off-lane player for Rox.kis, so no doubt about it. He's going to be in that long lane jungle position. And we'll see if he actually even goes to the long lane. I'll be curious to see how Rox.kis lane this. They may want to put their tri-lane in the long lane to have that bit of killer action and try and slow down the Weaver as well as the Rubik and the Chen. Weaver going to be well suited to try and deal with this a little bit, although Shadow Fiend is a bit of a counter to that Weaver. Of course, he can Shikuchi away, and if a skilled Shadow Fiend is present, he can still connect with those Shadow Raises to try and finish him off. So there is some potential there for Weaver to get shut down by said Shadow Fiend, but we'll see how it works out. We are loaded into the first game of the day, folks. Again, thank you for joining us here on Dota Radio. Rox.kis and 4FC about to go toe-to-toe on our first of 6 matches. And whoa, look at that mini-map. Look how big those icons are. I hope you folks at home are enjoying it. That's 1,000, folks. It's huge. Oh, Nelly. Oh boy, that's going to take a little getting used to there. They're hard to miss now, that's for damn sure. So, anyway, on our Radiant side, let's go ahead and introduce our team. We do have Rox.kis. Biz going to be the one on that Templar Assassin. No doubt he's going to be headed to that mid lane. Looks like it will be a tri-lane down here in the bottom. Nexus going to be on the Shadow Fiend. The stand-in Dread going to be on the Naga Siren. And y'all going to be playing on the Jakiro. That does leave Sadoy on the Batrider. Again, going to be in the off lane / the jungle to round off their roster. Now we're going to see 4FC. It will be Strangby in the long lane. Going to be headed bottom here on the Mirana. Looks like Boomski is going to be playing on the Chen, and their stand-in Jussie going to be playing on the Rubik. Right now, they're postured about the bottom lane, but I think they may venture their way to the top. We'll see where Jussie ends up. He may stay down here in the bottom lane to try and support the Mirana a little bit. He is stationed outside the Dire Ancients right now, so we'll see exactly where he ends up in just a moment's time. Blomberg going to be headed to the mid lane, of course, going to be playing on that puck to square off against the Templar Assassin. And last but certainly not least, we see Krilly playing on the Weaver himself and giving a shout out to Heisenberg there. All right, high five for the Breaking Bad series finale tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time on AMC. You better be watching it, folks. If you're not, I really don't know how to save your soul. Big shout out to Krilly for giving a shout out to the things that I love. So let's see what's going to happen here. Where's Rubik going to end up? That initial rune is going to spawn. Who's going to grab it? It is indeed going to be the Rubik. Will be a regeneration, so not going to be all too useful for that level 1 mark. And it looks like Jussie is going to rotate his way up to the top lane, so it will indeed be a long lane Mirana here. And we'll see how Strangby fares. He's going to be up against this killer tri-lane, so all the heroes on 4FC, I think he's most suited to deal with it. That Leap going to be a little bit more useful than the Shikuchi. So that is going to be good news for Strangby. He should be able to at least grab a little bit of experience here. as he is staying in experience range at the moment, but again, going to have to be very careful. The early lane wards have come down for Rox.kis. We see right in that normal spot across the way from that tier 1 tower, giving a lot of sight into the lane, and also going to give a sentry ward down here. Right in front of the camp, where just in case someone was going to get counter warded there, or pardon me, going to stop the spawn from spawning, the pull camp. I always screw that one up. The pull camp is a weird name for it, but that is definitely what it's known as. And Dreg gonna bump into some trouble here. Jussie on the Rubik and Boomski on the Chen gonna rotate their way into the Radiant jungle now. They're gonna try and support their Mirana, so we're gonna see this tri-lane go toe-to-toe. It looks like Chen right now does have a Dark Troll Summoner that he is moving around. He is gonna head back to the Dire jungle. Well, we'll see. He's actually gonna head back now into the Radiant jungle, so they may try and set something up. Of course, between the Rubik as well as that Dark Troll with the ensnare, they may be able to make it happen. With the Mirana arrow, should set up for some pretty easy arrows, but Boomski now going to be in the jungle. He's going to grab a Satyr Tormentor, and Dread as well as y'all going to be venturing their way over and could potentially set up a kill onto the poor Chen. He is all solo right now, and also TA could roam her way down if he gets caught in a bit of a sticky situation, and he may get cut off here. We see Dread headed to that bottom rune spawn, checking for the bottom rune, going to spawn up top here at the 2-minute mark. It will be an invisibility. Again, Chen kind of caught between this two supports here from Rox.kis. Right now going to bump into Jussie as they do meet into the entrance of the Radiant jungle. So a little bit of ring around the rosy happening down here between the supports, and meanwhile Shadow Fiend and Mirana just continue to go toe-to-toe with one another. Now in the mid lane, again, that 2-minute rune is going to be bottled up here by the Templar Assassin, so a bottle for him, and I believe there is a bottle for the Puck. It is being crowed right now, still a ground courier, but bringing that bottle back to allow Puck to refill up that bottle. Looks like we are going to see a little bit of harassment down here in the bottom lane. The Shadow Fiend going to get caught in a telekinesis. The Jakiro did take a bit of damage as well, but alas, no kill going to come out from either side. Right now, Chen does have a Satyr Tormentor, so no crown control, but will have that long-range shockwave to do 125 damage, so we'll see what they can make happen, although it looks like Chen is going to back up here and rotate into the Dire jungle. I need to be a little bit careful here. Chen only level 2. He is a dedicated jungler, and normally when there is a true jungler versus a team with no true jungler, there's a big experience edge going to that side, and there very well may still be a small one here. No, experience edge going to be in favor of Rox.kis, and gold advantage going to be in their favor as well. So Chen wasting a lot of time wandering around this Radiant jungle here. He's obviously not able to farm as quickly and carelessly as he would like because there are enemies about, as well as some stacks here that are going to make his life a little bit more difficult. He does still have that Satyr Tormentor, and going to try to start chipping away at that hard camp double stack that Rox.kis have been able to amass, but alas, still no kills coming out down here in the bottom. Let's take a look at the top lane. We do see a long lane Bat Rider for Rox.kis, who's currently 15-5 against the 15-3 Weaver, so it looks like they are pretty even in terms of farm in the top lane. Going to be one of those situations where until level 6, Bat Rider definitely not going to be able to kill the Weaver unless he makes some sort of fatal misstep, and really the same thing for the Bat Rider. Weaver doesn't have any lockdown, not going to have anything to prevent that Bat Rider from just using Firefly out into the nether portion of the map where he won't be able to find him. So it's just going to be a farm fest up in the top lane, really great for both sides, but I think it favors Rox.kis a little bit there. A free farming Bat Rider going to hit much more of a mid-game stride and have much more of an impact than that Weaver will with that same amount of farm between like the level 6 mark, level 11 mark. We see a big play here. Jussie going to be able to throw the Naga to the high ground. He's going to be stuck behind the trees. That's going to set up for an easy Mirana arrow. Dreg going to be in big trouble here. The Satyr Tormentor going to come to throw a shockwave. He's going to try and pour it out. Rubik with a double damage going to throw a Fade Bolt there, and that'll finish him off. That's going to be a first blood coming out for our Dire side. The stand-in Jussie on the Rubik going to be able to finish off Dread on the Naga Siren with a Fade Bolt to the face. It all started thanks to that great telekinesis to the high ground. The Naga was stuck, and there was nothing that he could do. Very nicely played by our Dire side. For Friends and Cruelly going to take a small lead here to start things off at the 5-minute mark. Also compliments of that double damage on the Rubik. In the top lane here, Weaver now going to be able to complete his power treads to go with that magic stick and 3 GG branches. The Bat Rider is now level 5, is on his boots of speed, magic stick, as well as now an empty bottle and a GG branch for good measure. So going to be working towards that early Blink build. No doubt may well go for the Tranquil Boots to give him a little bit more sustainability in lane before grabbing that Blink Dagger. Certainly something we have seen many an occasion. In the mid lane here, TA doing pretty well. Biz is 26-10 against the 20-6 Puck. Puck just now hitting level 6. TA going to be a slight advantage over that Puck again, thanks to the deny difference there, but still a very easy, even lane. The Puck really hasn't done too poorly, and again, like I said, all Blomberg has to do is not concede a lot of early deaths, and it shouldn't be too bad. But TA is going to wander Starladder down into the Radiant jungle here. Chen gonna get caught. He's only level 3. He's gonna fall. Arrow gonna come in, will connect with TA, but Refraction will be up, gonna absorb all that damage, although TA will be stunned for 5 seconds. Not gonna be enough to save the Chen, so that is gonna level it out 1-1 here as we approach the 6-minute mark. Rox.kis gonna be able to get their first kill on the board as they take out Chen in the Radiant jungle. And again, like I said, that's one of the problems with Chen in the Radiant jungle. We see no wards up for our Dire side right now, so they have no clue where their supports are, and Chen was really rolling the dice right there. It looks like he just crapped out as he does pay with his life. So now Chen gonna head back to the jungle. Boomski here, really off to a slow start. He is gonna be on the Dire side, so gonna have a whole nother set of creeps to play with. Gonna grab another Satyr Tormentor, but his farm definitely hurting right now in the net worth. Chen is very, very low at only about 600 gold right now. He is number 9 out of 10. The only one below him is the Naga, who has really been taking the brunt of that position 5 here for Rox.kis right now. Dread, he's just been roaming around, really hasn't been able to get a lot of experience. Some of it has been denied by that Chen, but so far definitely not a cost-effective exchange. In the top lane here, Krilly going to take a lot of damage. Looks like Sadoy is going to connect with the lasso onto the Firefly, but alas, they'll both be past that level 6 mark, and Krilly, aka Heisenberg here, going to be able to time-lapse back to freedom, and he will survive and have quite a few hit points to spare. So a noble effort from Sadoy, going to use that lasso to try and slow down the farming of Weaver, force them to use the ultimate. Could make him a little more susceptible to a gank if Chen gets aggressive, if Mid gets aggressive, gets a nice rune, and heads up to the top lane. Perhaps the supports could rotate as well. They could use a smoke, and between the Jakiro and the Naga, they very well may be able to set up a kill onto that Weaver, but the short cooldown on time-lapse going to make that window extremely short, and I don't think they're going to capitalize. Going to be back up in about 20 seconds here. Although Dread is going to start rotating to the top lane here as I do bring that up, and just going to plant a ward at the high ground right outside of the Radiant Ancients as he heads back down to the Radiant jungle. So in the mid lane here, Biz now going to be able to finish off his power treads on that Templar Assassin. The Puck does have the gold to finish off the treads, but hasn't completed them quite yet. There is a smoke right now from our Dire side, both Jussie on the Rubik and Boomski on the Chen, going to be moving about the bottom river there into the bottom lane, and we'll press forward into the Radiant jungle, and we'll see if they can make a kill happen. Right now, they've only got eyes on the Shadow Fiend. Of course, Nexus, who is microing about the tower, does have his power treads as well. And they are going to move into the jungle. Uh-oh, they're going to catch the Jakiro. That's going to be a missed arrow. Whoa, the arrow not going to line it up quite right. There will be a telekinesis to start things off. Chen going to have a centaur as well. Not even going to have to use the war stomp. They will be able to finish off that kill again. Jussie going to be able to grab that kill with the Fade Bolt to finish off the Jakiro. So that's going to make it now 2-1 at the 8-minute mark for Friends and Krilly, grabbing themselves a nice little lead here to start things off. Again, let's take a look at the gold chart. And they're going to have a nice 300 gold advantage, somewhere about 1,000 experience lead at the 8.5-minute mark. So that is good news for them. Chen's jungling prowess starting to kick in a little bit, and of course pulling ahead 2-1, going to be pretty nice as well. Also seems that the Weaver is starting to do a little bit better in the top lane. It is taking over against that Bat Rider. He's now at the 3.1k point on the net worth chart. Right now, Bat Rider only at about 1.9, so Bat Rider going to be forced back to the well. He's 24-6 now against the 46 and 14 Weaver, so now that Krilly here has been able to grab that Ring of Health as well as the power treads, he's in pretty good shape. He's been able to grab a good bit of farm. Wow, Sadoy was out of the lane. Now, he could find himself in a little bit of trouble here, as there's going to be an invisibility rune on the Templar Assassin. Biz is now level 8 on the TA. Again, does have power treads as well as the magic wand and the bottle. Going to be invisible for another 10 seconds here. Heisenberg going to hop forward. He is going to use that Shikuchi, and I think Krilly going to be in big trouble here. Bat Rider going to try to connect to the lasso. There's the sticky napalm. They're going to throw down a sentry. He's going to be able to Shikuchi away. Not going to be in range for the lasso. That's going to be a bit of a misplay there. Biz, unfortunately, going to waste that invisibility rune. Not going to be able to secure the kill that he was looking for. So that is going to cost Rox.kis a little bit there. Any missed gank is a missed farm opportunity that will cost TA on the net worth chart a little bit, although Puck did leave the lane as well. No, pardon me, Blomberg didn't. That was Chen that was on his way over as Rubik. So Puck was just farming away that whole time. We did see the Naga rotate into the mid lane, so Dread making the most of that experience, but some convergence onto Sadoy on that Bat Rider. It's going to be a 3 versus 1. Krilly, Jussie, and Boomski going to come in. Jussie going to be able to grab, almost going to grab that kill, pardon me. He's going to use the Fade Bolt for that last bit of damage, but Weaver will get the last hit with one of those right-click auto attacks. That is now going to be 3-1 in favor of 4FC. Again, failed ganks versus successful ganks. Pretty easy to do the math on that. And now 4FC going to further their lead by just a little bit here. The 10-minute mark going to cross, and a rune will spawn. It is going to be a double damage. Will spawn at that top mark. Of course, TA has great rune control with those psionic traps. Knows exactly what they are when they spawn, and is going to be able to bottle it up. So it seems rune control going the way of our Radiant side more often than not. And right now, Rox.kis have the top 2 on that net worth worth chart. The TA as well as the Shadow Fiend both doing very, very well. TA at about 3.8k, Shadow Fiend at 3.7, but Weaver is nipping at their heels. He is free farming here in the top lane. He's going to be right about on par with them at that 3.8k mark. So we do have a pretty even game on our hands for the most part, though we are going to see 4FC pull ahead by about 1,500 gold, 2,000 experience here at the 11-minute mark. So they do have an okay lead set up for themselves, but all things considered, still a very, very even matchup. Of course, Rox.kis not going to hit their stride completely until that kind of mid-game mark when they have all that AoE potential, the Requiem of Souls mixed with the Macro Pyre on top of the Naga ability to reset with that Song of the Siren, plus the ability to pick off with that Bat Rider once he grabs that Blink Dagger. Going to be a timing that Rox.kis that certainly will be able to capitalize on here, even if they aren't winning the super early game. Also interesting to note, Rubik 2-0-1 right now, so Jussie been very active. He has been involved in all 3 kills of 4FC, so doing a great job. 2 points in Telekinesis, 2 points in Fade Bolt as he is sitting level 4. Pretty standard Rubik stuff happening here as he is just on Boots of Speed and a Magic Wand. So here in the mid lane, Biz on the TA going to be in a little bit of trouble. Blomberg going to go ahead and burn the Dream Coil. Unfortunately, going to get a little bit proactive with it, though, as the follow-up not going to be there. Chen going to be on his way with a Centaur as well as a Hellbear, but not going to be able to connect with either of those short-range AoE spells. All the while on the bottom lane, Rox.kis going to be able to start pressuring this Tier 1 tower. We're going to see Dread, Y'all, as well as Nexus coming in, and this tower going to get down to about half health. Of course, Shadow Fiend going to be able to flash clear these creep waves pretty easily. He is level 8 and sitting on 36 souls at the moment, so this tower taking a lot of damage here, no doubt. Mirana, though, going to be able to fend. She's no slouch in the creep clear. He's going to have that Star Storm, aka Starfall, as we know, one of my little pet peeves there, that damn copyrights. Going to be able to clear up the creeps, and that will keep the tower alive. A smoke going to come in from Jussie as well as Boomski on the Chen and the Rubik, and they're going to press forward here. Mirana going to hop forward, going to try and start doing some damage to Nexus. Is going to cancel cast a Star Storm. Looks like he was going to start it. He did cancel it. Not going to burn the mana, and that is going to reveal the smoke. So again, not going to be a successful gang. Both sides playing very passively here. Only 4 kills on the board in 12.5 minutes. No doubt a very passive game we've seen thus far. But now Rox.kis going to get a little bit more aggressive here. They are going to have 4 down in the bottom lane. We do see TA with a double damage rune on, so perhaps why she's feeling the need for speed down here in the bottom lane. But Puck now going to pour it in. There will be 4 members of 4FC to help defend it well as well. Still Weaver as well as Bat Rider up in that top lane, just duking it out, farming against one another, while it is a 4 versus 4 battle down here in the bottom lane. 4FC posturing about that Tier 1 tower. They will clear up the creep wave, and it looks like Rox.kis going to get pushed back right away. They see that there is defense coming that Tier 1 tower's way, and they're going to move back onto their side of the map, into the jungle, and to their Tier 1 tower, respectively. And then we're going to see the mid laners, or some folks, head back to the mid lane. Naga actually going to be able to move to the mid while TA clears out the jungle, and Blomberg on the puck going to rotate back to the mid lane as well. He's sitting on power treads right now, 2 GG branches, and that Null Talisman to start things off. Going to have the Courier bringing his bottle back to him right now, still crowing away, and going to be pretty close to that Blink Dagger. Right now, Blomberg is sitting on about 1,700 gold, so he's going to have that Blink in a pretty timely manner here. Going to be another minute or two till he'll have enough gold to finish it off. Bat Rider, same story, different chapter. He's at about 1,800 gold right now, so he'll be in good shape to grab a nice timely Blink Dagger somewhere around the 14-minute mark, so definitely not the fastest Blink Dagger we've seen on Bat Rider. You can get it much more quickly than that if you're in the jungle, completely uncontested, farming by yourself, but alas, he was slated to be in the off lane here, and he did get picked off once. I believe, yep, he's 0-1-0, so Bat Rider did not have that opening game that he was really hoping for to get that nice timely blink, but still, he'll be in great shape. Sadoy is now level 9, so going to get those extra points in Sticky Napalm, as well as Firefly here. Actually going to go 2 points in Flame Break, which is a little interesting. Thought that Firefly would be the obvious choice, but oh, going to get a little bit of extra burst damage here. Looks like we could see some initiation about this bottom rune. It is going to be a regen that will spawn here at the 14-minute mark. Biz going to be able to bottle it up on that TA. TA now has a blink as well, so that is a big item pickup. Going to be a game of blinks. Initiation and counter initiation going to be the name of the game on both sides, between the Naga, the Puck, the silences, the blinks. It's going to be who can jump who, I think, will seal the deal more so than the specific team rosters or team fight potential. Both sides have a lot of team fight potential. 4FC, although not quite as obvious, they still have Puck. They've got that great sustain from Chen, the Star Storm, going to be able to do a bit of AoE damage as well, and they have a lot of single target pressure they can put out. So you know, if they can shut down that Naga, if they can shut down the TA, really any of those heroes, if they can get the jump on, really even Jakiro, if they can shut him down to prevent the Macro Pyre, that 5v4 will make things much easier. So now Puck can be able to grab the blink as well. Again, those initiation tools now being able to come out onto the field. We see Weaver with an ultimate orb to follow up his power treads and that ring of health, probably going to be going towards that early Linken's. Makes a lot of sense. against the Bat Rider here. Not too many abilities that are going to be able to break it. Really just going to be the Ensnare, as well as the Flaming Lasso. I can't think of too much else that they're going to be able to use to break that Lincoln, so definitely a good Lincoln's game for the Weaver. In the top lane, we're going to see some initiation here. It is going to be a 2v2, Templar Assassin and the Bat Rider versus the Weaver and the Puck. Bat Rider is going to fall. Puck going to be able to finish him off. We will see Dread on the Naga poured in, but not going to be enough to keep his buddy alive. That is going to be a 1-for-0 exchange, and that tier 1 tower is going to be denied. They push it down to the deny range, so it is going to be 4-1 here at the 15-minute mark, and 4FC going to pull ahead 1-0 in the tower count. It is denied, of course, but still going to be able to grab that first tower kill nonetheless. Small lead for themselves, still holding about 1,200 gold, 2,000 experience, so they're still in great shape in terms of this early game, though those core items are continuing to be completed here. Now Bat Rider has his blink to go with TA's blink. She's going to be able to grab an Ogre Club, start working on that BKB. Shadow Fiend going to be going BKB first after the Power Treads, does have the Mithril Hammer as well as the Ogre Club, and there it is. Recipe going to arrive on the courier right as we're looking at it. So that's going to be a 16-minute BKB for the Shadow Fiend, also to go with his Wraith Band and Magic Stick, and of course those Power Treads that we did just mention. Mirana, only level 8 Strangby, was in that off lane, so did everything he could to maximize that farm. Now has Ring of Aquila, Power Treads, and the Magic Wand as well, so those core items coming into play, and that's about it in terms of inventories. Again, both teams just playing very passively. I think they're all more concerned about getting their first round of core items before they feel comfortable being too aggressive, whether it be the Blink Daggers for Rox.kis with their TA, and their Bat Rider, 4FC as well with their blinks on the Puck, and probably the only blink they're going to need to start things off. A blink on the Rubik may come out eventually, but that's going to be quite a while coming. I mean, they have that kind of, I don't even know if they really have a carry advantage. Weaver and Mirana versus Shadow Fiend and TA, both sides kind of lacking that traditional melee hard carry, your anti-mage, your Phantom Lancer, your Lifestealer, what have you, and all kind of ranged carry. Well, they are all ranged carries here, and obviously Mirana, as well as TA and Shadow Fiend, and Weaver for that matter, all of them are kind of more soft carry-like. They can become very scary indeed, but we'll see how that fares here. We're going to see in the top lane, Bat Rider going to play forward, going to initiate on the Mirana. Rubik going to be able to steal it. Rubik will use a telekinesis. That's going to help keep Mirana alive. They're going to be able to turn it around. Now Bat Rider going to fall. Shadow Fiend's going to be in the tower, going to use that BKB. We'll get a Requiem of Souls off, and he's going to be able to pour it out. And now we're going to see 4FC denied their bottom tier 1 tower. That's going to be 1-1 in tower count, and they will both be denied. So still a pretty even game on our hands, but again, 4FC going to be able to walk away. 1 kill richer. Rox.kis not going to be able to add another one to the board. Now going to be 5-1. Here's where we're about to approach the 8-minute mark. Rubik now 3-0-1. A great steal on that lasso. I thought Mirana was going to be in trouble because although Bat Rider wasn't pulling her out of position with that Flaming Lasso, he was holding her steady to allow Shadow Fiend to connect with 1 Shadow Raise, but no more than that. So unfortunately for them, just didn't work out their way. They didn't have the damage to follow it up. Seeing the Shadow Fiend Nexus here kind of with that one last-ditch effort before he poured it out. BKB, Requiem of Souls, and just nailed that TP scroll to take him home. And he did survive, though really didn't get to do too much damage when it was all said and done. Some runes have been out here. Puck did manage to bottle up a haste rune, I think at the 16-minute mark, and is hasted right now. And we did see TA with a bottled double damage rune, which had just been used as well. Not sure which was 16 and which was 18 minutes, but they were both out onto the field. In the bottom lane here, we'll see Krilly rotate down on the Weaver. He is now level 13. He's going to be able to take out that tier 1 tower down here, and Weaver actually the highest level in the match by a large margin. He is level 13. Next highest is 11, which is shared by TA, Shadow Fiend, and the Puck at the moment. So the Weaver himself, the Crypt Fiend here, really with a nice experience advantage, and he's going to be able to rotate down and finish off that tower. Looks like his Lincoln is going to be in transit. Yep, there it is. A nice 19-minute Lincoln to follow up that that set of Power Treads, as well as the Magic Wand. So Krilly, my man Heisenberg there, he is really in great shape to start off this match. Though, Shadow Fiend continuing to be an impressive force, but he is going to get dove on down here. Krilly going to come in. Nexus just going to pour it out again. Going to be able to nail that TP scroll, and he is going to be able to survive. Still 5-1 here as we approach that 19-minute mark. Still, both sides being so passive. I think Rox.kis could afford to be just a little bit more aggressive here. Again, they've got the blinks, they have those initiation tools, and perhaps they're waiting for TA to grab the BKB. Does have the Mithril Hammer to go with that Ogre Club, and just about 200 gold in the bank, so not too close to that recipe. We're going to have it nonetheless. In the mid lane, TA going to be able to finish off a tower, but it may cost Biz his life. Is going to have Refraction up that will mitigate that first bit of damage. The Dream Coil does come out. They're going to get the reset with the Naga. Krilly going to come in. TA not going to run. He wants to try to do it, and uh-oh. Biz going to stand his ground, definitely getting a bit hyper-aggressive there. I'm going to try to engage the 1v4. Hey, buddy, I think that Naga Siren ulti was used defensively so that you could run away. Maybe a bit of a miscommunication there, but the follow-up just wasn't there. And TA essentially going to suicide into 4FC. Really not the smartest play here at the 20-minute mark. Now going to be 6-1. The tower count right now is 2-2, all tied up, but looks like we will see this Tier 1 in the mid lane fall. That will be the last remaining Tier 1 tower for Rox.kis. They do have a glyph available, not going to use it, as they will let it fall, given all 5 members of 4FC have grouped up. Chen going to have 2 Centaurs and a Wildling Ripper right now. Definitely a smart choice. The Wildling Ripper going to have that toughness aura plus 3 armor aura coming out onto those Centaurs, so it is going to add to the tankiness of 4FC and allow their pushing power to work that much more effectively. Of course, they do have a Ring of Aquila as well, so those creeps are nice and tanky with a lot of additional armor. They're just going to move straight into the Roche pit here. There is a ward down for our Radiant side, and going to be a ward down for our Dire side as well, so obviously both teams do know that Roche is underway, but 4FC going to have a nice advantage here. With the Chen creeps, that does make it nice and easy. He's going to keep rotating the stuns, the war stomps on those Centaurs, and Roche is going to fall completely uncontested for 4 friends and Krilly. Weaver going to be able to grab that Aegis of the Immortal and walk away with it. Now a nice gold lead has got to be set up for our Dire side. We're going to take a look at the graph here. Nice 2,000 gold, 4,500 experience lead, so 4FC definitely in great shape here at the 21-minute mark. 6-1 as they do now have the Aegis in tow. So, other items that have been picked up, again, we talked about Puck with that blink. Now Mirana going to grab that first Blade of Alacrity. Either going to be a Yasha or a Diffusal Blade, hard to say which. I'm going to guess it'll be the Yasha first for a little bit of extra right-click auto-attack DPS there, but we'll see what he wants to do. Could go that more utilitarian route with the mana burn on that Diffusal Blade. Puck now going to be able to grab that first, or the only ultimate orb he needs to try and finish off that Sheep Stick. No doubt going to be his item of choice here. And Chen now going to be able to grab his mech. So next round of core items have been completed for 4FC. Not much else in the inventories of Rox.kis. TA getting ever so close to that BKB. Now with about 1,000 gold in the bank, still working towards that recipe. Does have the other core pieces. The Shadow Fiend now has his BKB. We talked about Sadoy with that Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider. He's now level 11 as well, but still has yet to make any other big item pickups following that big Blink choice. So we'll see. I think the onus is going to be on Rox.kis a little bit here, though. They are falling behind. They've got that team fight presence, and I think they can afford to be a little more aggressive with this Bat Rider. Sadoy not a player that gets to grab the Bat Rider all too often. I think it shows a little bit here. I think he could definitely afford to be a little bit more aggressive. One of the great things about having a Bat Rider on your team is it allows you to initiate from long range, pick up those solo kills whenever someone is off by himself. We are going to see in the bottom lane here the Shadow Fiend get initiated on. Krilly going to be poking him on that Weaver. Blomberg going to be on the Puck. He did try and make it happen. He was invisible, but now the support's going to come. Puck going to be in big trouble. Going to get caught in the lasso. He is going to be able to get a phase shift off following that lasso, but not going to be enough to keep him alive. Just going to buy him a couple of seconds. Rox.kis going to be able to walk away one kill richer. They're going to have a 4-man team now in the Radiant jungle, and they're in hot pursuit of that Heisenberg, aka Krilly, on the Weaver as he heads back to the mid lane. And not going to be able to grab a kill. So, Rox.kis now going to be able to level it out a little bit more. Going to be 2-6 here at the 23-minute mark. They've still got quite the wall to climb, but that kill definitely going to help them out quite a bit. Now we're going to see Krilly press forward once again to try and poke that TA a little bit, but again, not going to be able to make it happen too easily. Shadow Fiend did survive. It was a noble effort from 4FC right there, but unfortunately didn't have the burst damage to take him down. That BKB saving Nexus's life again, mitigating some of that damage the Puck that Puck can put out. Shadow Fiend now going to grab an Eagle Song as well, so obviously going to be transitioning into a fast butterfly, more than halfway there, as he does have the Eagle Song in tow, as well as 400 gold now in the bank. Mirana going to be able to grab that Yasha, so did upgrade that Blade of Alacrity for a little bit of extra movement speed and damage. The Sheep Stick from Puck definitely going to come in handy here, but they need an MKB, and I think Weaver may be well advised to go for that next. Looks like he is going to go for a Desolator, that pretty standard Weaver build. Lincoln's into the Desolator. He does have that first Mithril Hammer in the bank, as well as the Aegis still in the inventory, not going to expire for another 3 minutes or so. So that is going to be a wide window of opportunity there for 4FC to get aggressive and try and make the best of that Aegis. But Desolator first, going to give a huge window of opportunity for Rox.kis, where that Shadow Fiend just going to go completely unchecked. 35% physical damage evasion is pretty damn significant, especially against a Mirana as well as a Weaver. Desolator going to help cut through that armor, but I think he's definitely going to need an MKB. Will undoubtedly be his third item, but Rox.kis, that might be their window of opportunity to capitalize. Well, that Shadow Fiend is a little bit tilted relative to the carries of 4 friends and Krilly. Again, on that net worth chart, we see Shadow Fiend taking over as #1 farmer. Weaver nipping at his heels there, both of them sitting around 10.7k, 10.6k, but still this Shadow Fiend is a force to be reckoned with. With that, Rox.kis will move up to the top lane. They are going to pressure this tier 1 tower. Glyph will be used by 4FC to buy them some time here. The tower is going to fall. Trying to buy some time for that Weaver down in the bottom. Krilly is pressuring the bottom tier 2 tower. Shadow Fiend is going to port in. The tower still with a lot of health left. Krilly going to take a couple of shadow raises to the face, will time lapse, and just Shikuchi away. So going to be able to survive, only doing about half damage to that bottom tier 2 tower. Up in the top lane here, Jakiro and Mirana going to be going toe-to-toe. Jakiro going to burn the Macro Pyre. Mirana going to leap to the low ground. Going to try to come back around for another initiation. Ice Path going to be used. Now Naga going to come in, going to throw the Ensnare. Now going to burn the ultimate. Mirana did try to port out. Dread will be able to interrupt it with the Song of the Siren. Now Yawn going to connect with a nice Ice Path. The Fire Breath or the Dual Breath going to come in, pardon me. Mirana trying desperately to survive, using that Magic Wand. Going to keep her alive a bit longer. A few more auto attacks on to do it. Stuck in the Ensnare. Not going to be able to make it happen. Biz did come up. He did connect with the Psionic Trap as well. So that's now going to be 3-6 as Rox.kis grab themselves another free kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So 4FC, the remaining 4 of them that are still alive, going to group up in that bottom lane. They will finish off that tier 2 tower. That will give Weaver the gold he needs to grab that Desolator. Now to go with the Lincolns, the Aegis, and the Power Treads. Again, going to have that Aegis for about another 2 minutes here. That is good news for 4FC. Still leading 6-3. Going to take that tower kill advantage. And holding on to about a 2,500, 3,000 gold leader, so somewhere about 6,000 experience lead for them. Also, definitely great news for 4 Friends and Krilly at this current juncture. More item pickups, have they been made? And not too many. Definitely not on our Dire side at least, but on the Radiant side, now Shadow Fiend going to be able to grab that Talisman of Evasion, so Nexus going to be that much closer. He's about 400 gold off that big Butterfly pickup. We talked about TA finishing that BKB now to go with the Blink Dagger. Bat Rider going to have his Force Staff now to follow up his Blink Dagger. He is still only level 11, but that's really all he needs to try and make it happen. And now with that Force Staff, he can very easily pull folks way out of position. And it looks like an Urn now has been picked up on the Naga as well. And Jakiro going to have that early Staff of Wizardry, probably going to be a Force Staff of his own to get that little bit of additional mobility, but we'll see. Could also just transition into an Og Scepter, not a build we see too often on Jakiro. I'm going to guess it's a Force Staff. I feel silly for even suggesting the Og Scepter, but you never know, folks. You never know in a match like this. We are going to see Rox.kis get a bit more aggressive here. They are going to smoke up in the mid lane. Looks like TA, Jakiro, as well as Naga Siren, all going to be smoked up. The Bat Rider is off to the side, looking for an opportunity to try and engage someone. He's going to be smoked up as well, and joining them slowly but surely here is that Shadow Fiend. He has been able to pick up the Butterfly, grabbed that Quarterstaff as he was back in the base, and now going to have a level 15, a 27-minute Butterfly to go with his BKB, Power Treads, and Magic Wand. All 5 members of Rox.kis going to be grouped up in the mid lane here, just going to be able to chuck away at the Ancients. Their smoke going to be unsuccessful. They don't find anyone in that mid lane, as 4FC are still grouped up, but they are on the Dire side of the map indeed. They are going to clear out the Dire Ancients here. It is a double stack. Not going to clear it quite yet, but they are postured outside the pit. Why did I say the pit? Outside the Dire Ancients there. Still unbelievably passive in this game. Only 9 kills here in 28 minutes. One of the most passive games we've seen in Starladder Season 7. Of course, the CIS region have that reputation for being so aggressive here, and we're going to see it. Bat Rider going to hop forward, going to try to make it happen on the Mirana, and the heal did come out from Chen. It looks like that will be enough to keep Mirana alive, and they're going to be able to turn it around, and Templar Assassin going to get taken out. Now going to be 7-3. It's going to be a 1-for-0 exchange. Rox.kis were the aggressors there. They wanted to finish off that Mirana, but alas, they were unable to make it happen. Very nicely done by 4FC. The support was there, and this squishy Mirana was able to survive. She's not quite so squishy now, as she does have that ultimate orb to go with that Yasha. Sorry, folks, did miss the follow-up kill on the Bat Rider. Looks like Krilly was able to chase him down. He does have a double damage rune on as well, so needless to say, that Weaver hitting quite hard. Again, he does have that Desolator now. They're going to be able to melt this tier 2 tower in the mid lane. Dread on the Naga going to come in. He is going to try to slow down this push a little bit. That is going to buy him some time for Nexus to push in the top lane. He did manage to take out that tier 2 tower. That's going to level out the tower count for about 2 seconds there, and 4FC going to take it once again. Now going to be 5-4 in favor of 4FC in terms of tower count. Now we're going to see that Glyph still on cooldown for Rox.kis. 4FC going to press in. Bat Rider and TA going to be popping up in just a couple of seconds, but this tier 3 tower is melting. That's one of the great things about having a nice mid-game Desolator. That tier 3 tower going to be 1 hit away from death, and Templar Assassin will finish it off with a deny. Nicely done there, but still they are going to lose their tier 3 tower, and that that will make for easy pushing for 4FC. It is a 5v5 on the field now. Both sides going to try to go in. Puck going to hop forward. They are going to initiate onto the Bat Rider. Dream Coil as well as the Telekinesis going to be used. Bat Rider going to fall. The Macro Buyer going to come out. Biz going to go ahead and use that BKB. Won't be enough to keep him alive, though Shadow Fiend was able to finish off the puck. Now Jakiro going to go down. Shadow Fiend right-clicking onto that Weaver. He's going to Shikuchi away, and it's going to be a 2-for-3 exchange as Puck and Rubik did fall for 4FC. Puck going to buy back, though. Going to be able to port in, and now Krilly going to be the aggressor here. Only Shadow Fiend and Naga alive. Krilly needs to be a little bit careful, and Ensnare going to come out. Is going to proc the Lincolns. He'll be able to survive for now. Now Puck's going to be back in the mix. He'll blink forward. That's going to be a Waning Rift to try and silence the Shadow Fiend. We see those right clicks just doing nothing. Again, that Butterfly absolutely huge. Shadow Fiend has also been able to pick up a Helm of the Dominator, so he's now got that sustainability with a little bit of lifesteal on those right-click auto attacks. Also going to make him a little more tanky as well with that bit of additional armor, now up to 19. So 11-5 here at the 20-minute mark. It was a 2-for-3 exchange for 4FC, though they did burn a buyback, didn't get any follow-up kills. Chen now has a Sanj, probably going to be turning that into a Halberd, and of course that Desolator and Lincoln's combo is still on Weaver. He's got another 3,000 gold in the bank, so no doubt going to be working towards that MKB. May grab himself a Demon Edge before too long here. Marana going to be able to finish off that Manta style as well, and Puck has to be close to that Sheepstick, and DDA's got about 2,100 gold in the bank, so just going to need that Mystic Staff as well as that Void Stone, and it won't be too long before that huge crowd control piece going to come the way of 4FC. We're going to see some action down about the Roche Pit here. Shadow Fiend going to be able to catch the Rubik. Down he goes. Looks like Sadoy going to burn that lasso as well, so that's going to be an easy 1-for-0 exchange. Rox.kis going to move straight into the Roche Pit here. We'll see Bat Rider take the high ground, but 4FC, they're not having it. They're going to contest. Puck going to throw the Illusory Orb in. That'll scout it out. Roche still with plenty of hit points left. He's got about 2,500. He's down to 10% or so. If they're going to make this happen, they're going to have to hop into the pit soon. We're going to see Krilly try to run in. Is there going to be an Aegis steal? No. Roshan going to get finished off by the Dire. Shadow Fiend going to be the one to grab it, and now a Dream Coil going to come out, going to connect with the Shadow Fiend, the Naga, as well as the TA right there, but no follow-up going to come. Jakiro going to be taking some damage from those Marana illusions, going to throw the Ice Path, not going to connect with anything but illusions. A Marana arrow going to come in, not going to connect with anyone. Still 12-6 here at the 32-minute mark. 4FC still holding on to a 4,000 gold, somewhere about 8,000 experience lead, though they did just concede. Roshan going to be a nice pick-me-up for Rox.kis right there. 4-0-4 on that Weaver, 3-0-0 on that Shadow Fiend, so the two primary carries on both sides still have perfect records, and they're both getting more and more scary. That Shadow Fiend with 2,600 gold in the bank now, he's going to be able to grab himself a Satanic for before too long here. Probably going to be his next item choice to go with the BKB, Butterfly, and the Helm of the Dominator. Jakiro now going to be able to finish off that 4-staff to go with his Arcane Boots. And again, this Weaver, 3,800 gold in the bank. We'll see what Krilly's going to grab. It's got to be an MKB, and he's getting damn close as he's starting to clear out the Radiant jungle. So a little bit of map control going the way of 4FC, and yeah, they're still holding on to that little lead they've set up for themselves. Still unbelievably passive here, though. 18 kills in 32 minutes, so I guess you could say the game is picking up just a little bit, but not by much. Now we're going to see Chen finish off that Halberd to go with his mech. Not too often you see Chen go with that Halberd pickup, but it's increasingly becoming an item that we see in every game. Usually it's kind of on that Naga, that whoever is the melee position 4 and position 5 support grabs it. In this situation, it's going to be Chen. Not too often we see a hero like that with the Halberd, but of course it is going to give him a little bit of extra damage, but more importantly, going to give him a little bit of extra survivability. That 25 strength is pretty damn significant, so now Chen is a nice tanky force. He's got that extra armor from the mech as well, which is going to make things a little bit better for him. Puck now with the Mystic Staff in the inventory, going to be about 150 gold short of that Void Stone to finish off the Sheepstick. Could be one of the items that 4FC are waiting for here to try and get a little bit aggressive. In terms of ward control, it's fairly even right now. Our Radiant side does have the advantage of the Templar Assassin side traps, which do make scouting things out a little bit easier. They do have a ward right outside the Roche Pit on that high ground. Our Dire side with a ward by their entryway into their jungle, as well as one down in the bottom lane on the high ground again, right outside the Roche Pit. Kind of a relic from before that Roshan kill went down. Really in the bottom lane here, could be in a little bit of trouble. There is a trap set for him. Both Jakiro and Bat Rider are going to be hiding on the other side of the trees, but Weaver not going to press past the river. He's going to be smart. He's not going to fall for it, and he's just going to move into the Dire Ancients. We see Dread right here taunting them a little bit. Come on, guys, recognizing that 4FC playing very, very passively here, and probably more passively than they need to be, but we'll see. Again, two big items picked up here, the Satanic for the Shadow Fiend, this Scythe of Ice for the Puck. So those two big core items could be really the sign for both sides. They want to get a little more aggressive here. Again, I talked earlier, it's going to be all about initiation, so that explains why both sides are playing so passively. When it's a game like this where there's no clear carry advantage, both sides just going to sit back, try to be a little more patient, and wait for the other team to make a mistake that they can capitalize on, more so than being aggressive here and trying to make that mistake themselves. They are going to smoke up, though. They are going to rotate into the Radiant jungle. They being four friends and Krilly, they're going to catch the Templar assassin. Unfortunately, that neutral creep going to intercept the arrow. That would have been a free kill on TA for sure. She's going to be able to BKB, but they've got a lot of mobility. The blink's being used. Mirana going to leap forward. A few more hits, and Biz going to go down. Ooh, the Dream Coil going to be burned, and Biz is going to use a refraction, going to try to stay alive, but they've got enough non-target abilities that TA is going to fall. Chikiro also got taken out right there as well. I guess Chen was able to finish him off in the mix while we were kind of tunnel visioning on TA right there. So that's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange, 14-6 here at the 35-minute mark. So obviously a 5v3 on the field, and we're going to see 4FC press forward. Mirana going to use that ultimate to make their assault a little bit more sneakish, but Rox.kis just going to rotate into the Dire jungle, and they'll be just fine right there. Now the Big Mama comes out. That's going to be the MKB for the Weaver. He's now also level 20 against the level 19 Shadow Fiend, so that's going to be a huge item pickup. Again, finally the MKB to counter the Butterfly and the inventory of Shadow Fiend, exactly what they need. And now I imagine 4FC are going to have all the tools that they need to press up here. They still have 3,500 gold lead, somewhere about an 8,000 experience lead as well. So they're going to need to try to make this happen, I think. No reason not to be aggressive at this point. We saw how easily they were able to kill the Jakiro, as well as the Templar Assassin there in the Radiant jungle. They are going to group up about the top lane. There is only one outer tower remaining for Rox.kis, and it is this tier 2 in the top lane. It looks like four friends in Krilly. They're hungry for it. They want to finish it off, and they are going to press forward. So they're going to clear out the creep wave, and no, they're not. They're actually going to back up here to the side shop. I don't know what they're going to do. I guess they're just going to go back to farming. Again, 4FC playing this so passively. It's almost like they're afraid to press into that Naga Siren ulti. Perhaps some of it is the Aegis. Of course, they did lose that last Roshan kill. The Aegis going to be expiring from the inventory of Shadow Fiend in just about 50 seconds or so from now. So perhaps that's what 4FC are waiting for. They've got to be pretty aware of that timing, and indeed, if they are, that could be a good reason to wait. Another minute isn't going to hurt too much if that gets rid of having to kill Shadow Fiend twice in this upcoming engagement, so I think that's going to be a smart play. Down in the bottom, though, Biz going to get engaged on by the Weaver. Krilly just going to poke forward. Going to be able to do a lot of damage to that TA, but an Ice Path is going to come out, and that will keep him alive. The support going to come. Sadoi, I thought he might try to blink forward and finish off the old Weaver there, but alas, he does have Lincoln's, nothing else to break it with, so Krilly going to be able to survive. Again, just going to move back into the Radiant jungle and continue farming away. Farm, farm, farm. 20 kills now in 37 minutes, and it is a farm fest. Oh man. So that's going to be it on the Aegis. The Aegis is going to expire, and that will give that little bit of edge back to 4FC here. Let's take a look at the current gold chart. Mirana, actually the one with the big bankroll, sitting at about 2.8k, although TA and Shadow Fiend are nipping at her heels. They're both at about 2.7, 2.8k as well. We'll see what Strangby wants to pick up here. Diffusal Blade could be something that he wants to go for. Could just be pulling up for that MKB to try and counteract the efforts of the early Butterfly. Again, I think Rox.kis really missed a window of opportunity where they should have been a little more aggressive to try and force those team fights and capitalize on the lack of MKB from 4FC. Now this Weaver is just getting a bit out of control. They don't have much to try and deal with that Lincoln's, so they can't just focus him down. It's not as easy as just dropping the lasso on top of him, hit him with an ensnare, and try to finish him off. They're going to have to try and coordinate that a little bit better to shut down the Weaver. Still going to be a difficult feat for him, but it looks like Rox.kis will smoke up. They're going to move about the Radiant jungle here. They know that 4FC are inbound. They're trying to find the opportunity to engage on someone. Naga going to use the ulti, going to force staff forward. Will only catch the Chen. Going to be able to grab the Rubik as well. Bat Rider going to hop forward, going to be able to lasso on the Rubik. It looks like a long-range arrow going to come in. That might be enough to keep Chen alive. Chen going to burn the ulti. That will keep Rubik alive for a bit longer, but Rubik's still going to fall. He's the only one going down in this team fight. Mirana going to burn the ulti as well. Chen still in hot pursuit. TA going to blink forward. Boomski surviving pretty well. There's a flame break to knock him backwards. Down he goes. Shadow Fiend going to walk away with a double kill. For Rox.kis, now going to be 8-14 as they do pick up two nice kills. The smoke gank helping to make that possible, and just a not very well coordinated fight from 4FC. They weren't grouped up. Weaver was in the top lane. He's trying to push. He's trying to clear out this last remaining tier 2 tower, but Nexus going to be a step ahead. He's going to pour it in. He's going to clear up that creep wave. He's going to go toe-to-toe with the Weaver. Might not be a wise choice, though. He's going to be able to survive for now. Weaver doesn't have lifesteal, so it is a big difference there. The Satanic going to be burned. Nexus going to be able to survive. Weaver going to be forced to burn that time lapse and is going to head head for the hills as Crilly goes back to farming. The support of Rox.kis come the way of Shadow Fiend. Still perfect records for the two primary carries. Nexus on the Shadow Fiend is 5-0-0, and the Weaver is 4-0-4 right now. Both of them still doing very, very well. I think the third Roshan going to play a big role in this upcoming matchup here, or this upcoming fight. It is going to be about 2 minutes or so, minute 45 until the next Roshan spawns. Of course, that will be the third Rosh, so that means cheese for everyone, or really just one person, but it'll be coming up in just a minute and a half here, and I think based on how passive these teams are being, they're going to wait for Rosh to finish up, or Rosh to pop up, as I should say, move into the pit, and try and make it happen, Captain. Oh, one of these games, folks, where it is just so passive. Again, only about 22 kills here in 40 minutes. Boo. Starting to fall asleep. I'm hungry for some action. I want both these sides to make it happen, and I think they both have the tools to try to find these engages, both have the tools to try to ward a little bit more aggressively, set up those kills. I mean, Puck has great initiation power right now with that Blink Dagger as well as the Sheep Stick, and hop in, Sheep, whoever it is, he has in his sights. But already, Rosh going to be up now in about 50 seconds. 4FC starting to posture about the pit. They do have 3 on the side of the Dire Ancients, and the Weaver is in the top lane just farming away right now. Rubik actually going to be in the Dire jungle, so I think they may congeal here around the Rosh pit. Looks like Rox.kis kind of doing the same again. They've got TA in the top lane, but the remaining 4 are going to be down here in the bottom. Naga going to send in those mirror images to try and scout it out. Naga does have a gem right now, so the images, of course, do get the ability of true sight. They get to see exactly where all those wards are, and they're going to be able to counter ward a little bit of that dire warding action, so it is unfortunate for 4FC. They will lose some vision control about the pit, and there it is. Roshan going to be popping up here in just a matter of seconds, and this battle may erupt. Right now it is the TA versus the Weaver solo in the top lane. So Weaver trying to split push, trying to take down the last remaining outer tower from Rox.kis, but not finding himself particularly successful. Rox.kis have been doing a great job of defending that tower and making sure it's not going to be handed over for free to the likes of that Weaver. Now TA going to be able to grab a Desolator to go with the Blink as well as the Black King Bar. Again, 4FC now going to have to deal with that, and that's a huge damage output. Also going to buff the damage of that Shadow Fiend. He does have a Demon Edge down the inventory as well. Shadow Fiend also with another 4,000 gold, so if he wants a Daedalus, he can grab it right now. Just wants to make sure he has enough for buyback before he makes that executive item choice. Some more counter warding action going to come down by the Roche pit here. Bottom rune going to spawn here at the 42-minute mark is going to be a haste rune picked up by Blomberg on that puck, and we'll see what happens. Looks like Roche isn't going to be the focal point. Both sides are going to back up a little bit. 4FC going to take over vision control, and they are just going to venture into the mid lane. Now Rox.kis, will they fall for the bait? They're going to venture forward. Of course, there is vision coming out. Our Dire side knows exactly what's going on. They see Nexus walking into the Roche pit. Right now, it's just the Shadow Fiend. The rest of Rox.kis going to be able to position about the pit themselves. Now, don't forget when there's a Naga Siren, 4FC notably should be a little bit nervous to try and make this happen. Roche falling very quickly here. They shouldn't just hand it over. They need to try and contest. Oh no, worst timing possible. Paul's gonna come out, Roshan gonna fall. We'll see Shadow Fiend pick up the Aegis of the Immortal, and we see a disconnect, or no, Rubik pause, no disconnects. A ward bug. I don't know what a ward bug is, but unfortunately they just handed over a free Roche. Oh no, we will see Rubik disconnect actually. So there it is, he is finally gonna DC, but that was a bit of a bummer, very anticlimactic. I mean, I know there's a Naga, you got to be careful trying to hop into the pit, but 4FC could have tried to make something happen. Puck could have perhaps tried to use that illusory orb. He didn't time it right. It's still on cooldown by the time Roshan is fallen. You know, I don't know, Sadoy's in the trees here. He's trying to initiate on someone. I guess they just don't have the tools to try and make it happen. Marana could leap in and try and snag it, but they're just going to hand it over. So now Rox.kis going to be in a pretty good position as we're stuck in the pause. 4FC, they've been holding on to this small lead throughout the game, a 3,000 gold, now 8,000 experience advantage, but it's not that much. Really not that significant for this state of the game. And they're slowly but surely falling further behind here. Now Dreg going to use that Song of the Siren, and they're going to use it defensively. Oh gosh, they're just going to back up here. And they have to, because whoops-a-daisy, 4FC going to have Weaver just taking out that tier 3 tower. They aren't going to be able to burn his Lincolns there, and I think Crilly going to fall. Yep, down he goes. So All right, it gets a little more interesting here, folks. I guess I was tunnel visioning a little bit too hard on the Roche pit during that pause. They did lose their tier 3 tower in exchange for that Roche, and also lost their melee racks. Very nicely done by Curly right there. So that explains why 4FC didn't contest it. They didn't want to suicide. They definitely could have bought themselves a little bit more time, though. Maybe Weaver could have gotten himself the ranged racks, but still going to be a good exchange for 4FC. They're going to be in better shape than I thought. So I do apologize, folks. I did tunnel vision a little bit. It's a bad time to pause. Like I said, I'm stuck on whatever I'm looking at the time. So, yeah, needless to say, 4FC going to be in slightly better shape here. Rox.kis, though, they are going to press forward. Now that they've got the Aegis, they need to get a counter kill here on the barracks for sure. Weaver was dead. He is going to burn that buyback. The only person with buyback on cooldown right now is indeed the Weaver. So we'll see what happens. Rox.kis now backing up. I don't know. They've got the Naga ult. Unfortunately, it is on cooldown for another 50 seconds, so that does mean they need to be just a little bit more passive here. Naga going to have the Blink Dagger, though it is in the bank right now. Going to need the courier to deliver it for her, and there's not going to have the initiation power. I mean, they've got the Bat Rider. They could try and hop in and make something happen with the Force Staff and pull somebody out of position, but so far their efforts in doing that have really not been so successful. Chen's been able to pop in, use that Hand of God, and then pop the mech to keep whoever they target alive. Sadoy going to try to make it happen. He's going to Firefly over the wall. He's going to grab the Mirana again, going to get crowd controlled, and that's going to be it. Bat Rider just going to suicide into the tier 4. Is not going to be able to do much damage to the Mirana again. That's exactly kind of what's been happening. Not quite that vividly, but the Bat Rider not been doing too great a job in terms of that last over. We're going to see the fight continue here. Weaver going to take a lot of damage as TA hops in. The BKB is going to be popped by Shadow Fiend as well as the TA. They'll be able to finish off the Rubik. Now the Shadow Fiend going to fall. He's the one with the Aegis, so he's going to come back in a couple seconds here. There he is. Right now it is a 4v4 on the field. Rubik and Bat Rider are the only two dead, and Rox.kis going to continue pressing forward here. The Shadow Fiend still 6-0. The Glyph going to be burned by 4FC. They need to try and contest this. Puck now going to come in with the Illusory Orb. Not going to have a Dream Coil. It does have a Sheep Stick, though. Just burn that Sheep Stick, my friend. Try and lock somebody down. They're going to watch their tier 3 tower fall. Now 4 Friends and Krilley going to be in a little bit of trouble. A long range arrow going to come. 5-second stun on the Shadow Fiend, but are they going to be able to finish him off? The Naga ulti going to get used. Mirana going to be in some trouble. Did have the BKB on, and that's what can happen when you have a BKB against a Naga. You become the target when everyone else is in that Jigglypuff Sleepy Time song. Now Rox.kis, Nexus going to be in trouble. He's going to try to make it out of the base. Weaver going to be able to finish him off. He does get a counter kill on the Puck as he blows up. Puck buys back right away. Right now, again, it's a 4v4 on the field. Shadow Fiend and Mirana now the only two dead as more buybacks going to be burned. Shadow Fiend now 8-1-0. He is still a scary force. He's got the highest GPM, the highest net worth by a huge margin, about 26k versus the 20k of Krilley on that Weaver, who is in the second place slot. After that is going to be the 14k TA. Now Mirana going to buy back. That is going to be Strangby on the Mirana. Going to press forward with the rest of 4FC. It is a 5v4 on the field. Shadow Fiend does have buyback, so this is going to be rough for 4FC. If they can push up and force the buyback from Shadow Fiend and then just back out, I think that may be their golden ticket to a cost-effective exchange right here. It is now 16-12, so Rox.kis did get the better of the kills in that last exchange, but luckily for 4FC, they still have the advantage. They got that melee racks down. No glyph available for Rox.kis, and their range rack's going to start taking a lot of damage here. Now, they did push straight up the mid. As the creeps move into the base, of course, that disables the backdoor protection. So 4FC going to press forward. The buyback going to come out from Shadow Fiend. They're going to try to make this happen. Krilley going to get caught. Not going to be able to time-lapse. That'll be the end of the Weaver. And now they're going to be forced back here. The Macro Pyre comes out. So that would have been perfect if the Weaver didn't dive the base that hard and they just had Nexus force the buyback on the Shadow Fiend. He did burn it, but unfortunately grabbing that counter kill onto the Weaver does make it a little bit more of an effective buyback. Shadow Fiend was actually the one to grab that last hit. So that is great news for Rox.kis. That buyback totally worth it. And now they're going to have a 5v4 on the field for about another 70 seconds while that Weaver's dead. And I think Rox.kis is going to be able to press forward. They might be able to finally grab themselves that mid lane of racks. Again, that tier 3 tower is down, and there is no glyph available for 4FC. Not going to be a glyph coming up anytime soon. And how long does Weaver have until he has buyback? Another 2.5 minutes, so not even going to be close by any stretch of the imagination. It will be a 5v4 for the next 45 seconds, and Rox.kis know it. They're ready to capitalize, folks. As I see someone saying in chat, you're right, he does have a BKB now to go that Lincoln's. Didn't even get to use it. Still sitting at that perfect 10 duration. Didn't get to use the time-lapse in that last fight as well, so a bit of a misplay there from the Weaver. Very unfortunate for them. The melee racks in the mid lane fall. Rox.kis now going to be able to level it out. They don't care about the range. They just want to migrate to the top lane. Arrow going to come in, almost connecting with the Shadow Fiend. He will be able to dodge it. Nexus just trucking this top tier 3 tower. It's taking a ton of damage here. The top tier 3 going to fall. Weaver's still going to be down for another 15 seconds here. Not even close to buyback. Top lane of melee racks going to fall. Looks like the range rack's going to fall shortly after. Don't forget, TA now has a Desolator to go with that Blink and BKB. BKB, so they're able to knock those buildings down very, very quickly. Top lane of racks get completely cleared out for 4FC. Their mid melee racks were down. Their range racks going to fall as well. Now 4FC did manage to get the melee racks mid for Rox.kis. They did clear the ranged racks out as well, but still, this is going to be rough for them. They're behind by a lane of racks right now. They still have that tier 2 tower available in the bottom lane. That did save their bottom lane of racks, perhaps. Weaver's still dead for another 5 seconds, but it looks like Rox.kis are indeed going to back out. So we are going to resume here. Sorry about that. I wanted to shut my door very quickly. Looks like the dogs are awake. Oh ho ho. So Weaver going to pop back up. Rox.kis will back out against Shadow Fiend, just furthering the net worth. He's going to be able to grab another big item here, and that's it. He's got it. It's the Daedalus, and now I'm going to be working towards that Assault Cuirass, no doubt. He does indeed have the Hyperstone to go with the Butterfly, Black King Bar, Satanic, and Daedalus. So he's hitting hard, he's hitting fast, and now he's got that crit in tow. So let's see other big items that have been picked up. Puck now going to have a Sange as well. That means Puck going to be working towards a Halberd, I think, undoubtedly here. That is going to be good news for him. They already have one Halberd, of course, in the inventory of that Chen, who is level 16, so that is good news. Chen also going to be able to pick up a Ghost Scepter, which means he's going to have a bit of additional survivability as well. TA going to be working her way towards a crit stick, no doubt. Does already have the Crystallis, so has crit in tow, and probably going to be tacking on that Daedalus for a bit of additional damage. What's Krilly been up to, though? How's this Weaver doing in farm? Not so well. He grabbed that BKB, as we mentioned. He's only got an extra 1k in the bank. So the Weaver may be pulling up for buyback here. His buyback cooldown going to be coming up in just about 25 seconds. So buyback's going to be huge in this upcoming fight. Right now, 4FC have 3 of their buybacks on cooldown. Shadow Fiend on Rox.kis, the only one with his buyback on cooldown right now. So 4FC are going to push up here. It looks like they do want to cripple this top lane of racks to try and level things out once again here. This could be a little bit of a risky push. If they get scraped up here, as it may be, they're not going to have that same buyback potential, and things could get a little bit rough for them. Conversely, if they can finish off that Shadow Fiend right away, they may have an ability to take this team fight, as Shadow Fiend, the farmed carry there for Rox.kis, not going to have that valuable buyback. It is 13-16 here after 49 minutes of gameplay, just about to hit that 50-minute mark, and we still see a pretty even game on our hands. Now the gold difference, of course, in favor of Rox.kis by about 5,000 gold. Experience graph is actually negligible right now, just about zeroed out. Shadow Fiend will be able to finish off that Assault Cuirass, so that is good news for Nexus. Going to be able to spend all that gold on the item for this upcoming team fight, as of course without that buyback, no reason to pull up the gold, not quite as valuable as it would be otherwise. He's going to have another 2 minutes to farm up enough gold to hopefully have buyback by the time 4FC engage. 4FC still playing a bit too passive for my taste, folks. They are going to be forced back here. We will see Biz on that Templar Assassin trying to pressure the last remaining outer tower on the map, the tier 2 in the bottom lane for 4FC. It looks like he is going to be able to finish it off, or perhaps not. The Glyph going to get burned. There is some support coming its way. Blomberg on the Puck, Strangby on the Mirana. They're going to find Biz in the trees. He is just going to pop that BKB, and he's going to pour it out. He will pull back the Rubik as well. Now the Weaver going to be all alone, and the Chen going to be all alone in the mid lane. So Roche going to be coming up in 2 minutes. Maybe these teams will opt for a 4th Roshan kill before they feel comfortable pushing up, but 4FC, they had a huge window of opportunity right there. That Shadow Fiend without buyback, especially before he bought that Assault Cuirass, that they just didn't capitalize on. Of course, it is much harder to know those timings once you're in the game, harder to keep an eye out for when those buybacks are actually used. They don't have that easy countdown timer like us pesky observers do, but still, 4FC really not capitalizing on everything they have to offer. They've had a couple of item advantages throughout this entire match, and now they've really given Rox.kis everything they need to come back in this game, and hell, Rox.kis have the lead right now, so 4FC have put themselves in kind of a bad spot in terms of they were so far ahead, and now it is just about a break-even game that could be thrown quite easily. No other big item pickups have been made quite yet. I do see Rubik has a 4-staff. He's had that for quite some while. The Halberd on Puck still not quite picked up. He's still trying to pull up enough gold. Does have only about 1,200. Again, just the Sange, so he's going to be a couple thousand off. Roche going to be coming up in just a minute here, so it looks like these teams may be posturing around the pit. All 5 members of Rox.kis going to be in the mid lane here. They are going to be grouped up about where that dire tier 1 tower would be. And that is going to give them nice clear positioning about the Roche pit. All the while, though, 4FC, maybe they're not quite as keen on the timing. They are going to be grouped up about this bottom lane. They are going to start pressuring in and chipping away at that tier 3 tower. Of course, that Desolator helping soften it up a little bit. It is going to fall down to about half HP before 4 friends and Krilly are repelled. Now 4FC, they need to be a little careful here. Mirana ult going to be used. Sadoy going to blink forward on that Batrider. Is only level 15. He does have some eyes onto the Chen. Going to use a nice flame break. He's going to try to make it happen here. He does have a gen. He's going to get caught in the telekinesis to follow up that that lasso. Batrider going to fall. Again, Sadoy popping way too far forward. But now Naga going to set it up. We're going to see some of our 4FC friends take a lot of damage here. The Macro Pyre going to come out. BKB going to be used by Mirana. Some crowd controls coming out onto that Shadow Fiend. He's going to get sheeped. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble here. Naga going to fall. Jakiro going to go down as well. This Weaver doing a lot of damage. They did a great job crowd controlling Nexus, but he's going to be able to get the Satanic off. He's going to be able to regen right back up to full. Going to right click down that Weaver. It is going to be a 3-for-2 exchange, but 4 friends and Krilly in big trouble right here. Jakiro going to buy back, so it is a 3v3 back on the field. How is this fight going to continue to transport? Oh no, Rox.kis going to be able to push forward here. Now Boomski going to be in trouble. They're going to back off. Why? They could have killed him. He did go invisible for a second there, or he went ethereal, I guess you could say, for the Ghost Scepter, but still, they have magic damage. They could have pressed forward. They are instead going to buy back, or instead back up. Now we're going to see 4FC buy back. It's going to be a 5v3 on the field. Now Nexus could be in a little bit of trouble. He is level 25. He's going to get sheep. Biz is going to blink in to try and keep his buddy alive. Going to use the refraction. Going to be able to mitigate a lot of that damage. That'll open up for Nexus to finish off the Chen. He's critting for about 900 right now. He's going to finish off the Shadow Fiend, or pardon me, the Weaver as well. This Shadow Fiend just a little bit too stacked. Going to be able to that Shadow Rays to clear up this bottom creep wave. And now it's going to be a 5v3 on the field, but in the opposite direction. Rox.kis going to take the lead. Shadow Fiend is just too stacked. He's at 31,000 on the net worth chart, and we see Templar Assassin at the 21,000 mark. He is just a hop and a skip ahead of everyone else in this game right now. Weaver at only 20k himself. That bottom tier 3 tower falls. 4FC are just moments away from getting completely mega creeped right now. The ranged racks fall, and the melee racks fall, pardon me. The ranged racks going to fall shortly after. That's going to be mega creeps, and I think it's over for 4FC. 17-19. 4FC still hanging on to their small hero kill lead, but it is not going to be enough. They're going to be trailing or ahead by 2, and they are going to lose after 54 minutes of gameplay. Rox.kis going to be able to make it happen. 4FC had everything they needed to make this game happen, but they just couldn't find the opportunities. Even Sadoy, the unexperienced Batrider player, 8-6, suiciding with that lasso. He's going to be able to grab a kill there to finish off this game, but 4FC just still not able to capitalize on some of that poor Batrider play. Rox.kis just going to have the superior team fight presence, and of course the farm on that Shadow Fiend going to be helping out quite a bit. So wow, one hell of a first match to get us started here for Starladder Day 30 Season 7. The final day of that round robin is just getting underway. That was the tip of the iceberg, the first of 6 matches to come. Shadow Fiend being played by Nexus, ending that game 10-1-5 with nearly 700 GPM after 55 minutes. Absolutely impressive.